Hello, everyone, and welcome to Daily Upgrade with Jason Andrews. My name is Jason Andrews, and I'm a hypnotist, which is cool because that means I know how to change things on the inside to make things better. And if you're watching this, you like when things get better, and I like it when things get better, and that's what we're here for. And today I want to talk about black pills and white pills. And when I talk about it, I'm going to be doing some work under the hood, rewiring your brain in real time as you watch. And the first thing we're going to do is take a deep breath in, hold it for a moment, and then let it all go. Ready? Breathe in, hold it, and let's let it all go. Good. And the next thing we're going to do is gather up all the thoughts, everything where your brain has been up to this point today. Just gather them all up and bring them in here so you can focus in. Now, the topic for today is black pills and white pills. And I'm going to talk about a couple of things in general about what that means and how to sort of manage things so that your state of mind is generally stays on the productive side. Okay. Now, first of all, what do I mean by black pill and white pill? You've heard of the red pill and the blue pill from the Matrix movies. The white pill is optimism that things are going to turn out better, and the black pill is doomerism, where things are going to turn out worse and go bad. And it's been fascinating to me to watch all this stuff going on because there's so much everywhere of both. And I'll give you a couple examples here, and depending on which side you're on, there's been so much stuff going on, so many headlines on Twitter. And one of the things that's made hard right now is that there's so much stuff that isn't true. I've seen lots of posts about, oh, China says Israel has to be isolated. And I thought, okay, well, I asked Grok, is there any verification for this? And it's like, no, there's no verification of this. Okay, great. And there's all these other things that are going on. I mean, Trump put a post about how they're doing a 5-day ceasefire to do negotiations because they've been having good negotiations. In Iran, their official group of Republican Guard said, no, we haven't been talking with people. Now, that may sound like misinformation, but it's also, there's some possibilities there, right? Number one is that they've been talking with people other than the official guard, right? They're talking with other groups. They're just bypassing the official Iranian guard completely, treating them as irrelevant. So that's one possibility. Another possibility is that the Iranian guard, is just saying that as a cover or a smokescreen or misinformation or whatever, right? I mean, big surprise. They're going to lie about stuff in the middle of a war. Of course, they're going to lie. So even something like that seems fairly obvious, you can look at it through different lenses and think, well, okay, that interpretation isn't the interpretation. It's not so obvious that that's a good thing or a bad thing. It's not so obvious that, okay, this is a big lie or this is you know, you can't really tell. It could still be true, right? Because Trump didn't say who they were talking to. And again, that they could just be lying. The Iranians could just be lying, and that's very plausible. So that's one thing where if you take these things and sort of think them through about, okay, well, what are the specifics here? You can really pick it apart and figure out that, okay, this is not as obvious of an answer as I thought. And if it's not as obvious of an answer as you thought, then that means there's more possibilities, more dimensions of freedom, right? More ways that the situation can still unfold. It opens up the situation. It doesn't pin it down tight into something has happened, or it opens it up. I'll give you another one. I saw a couple of posts about how they have some recording of Trump with Epstein or something like that. And I'm thinking, okay, number one, trivial to make an AI audio recording. Trivial, right? So I'm not super convinced about that. The second thing is they have been trying to get him for the better part of it for a decade. And suddenly now they find something? It doesn't smell right. It doesn't smell right. I mean, they tried to assassinate the guy twice, and they've done everything under the sun to try to bring him down. And just suddenly now, 10 years later, they get something? I don't think so. They've had access to all this information that exists. There's no audio recording somewhere that exists now that didn't exist over the last 10 years. Sorry. So where was it? Who had it? I mean, come on. Come on. The people who knew Epstein would have had any such recording. So um, I just don't believe it. I just don't believe it. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that it's 100% not true. But what it does mean is that when you see that headline and you read it and you think, oh, well, that's the end. And like a lot of the repliers were like, finally got the guy. You know, they're all excited about it. I don't think so. I don't think so. And because people crave that definitive answer, they crave that I need certainty. Because if I have certainty, then I know what to do. And if I don't have certainty, I don't know what to do. It's a really interesting dynamic on how that works. So what do you do in regards to this? How do you make this stuff more how do you address it more cleanly and more resourcefully? Well, a number of different ways. First thing is always be skeptical, not necessarily saying it's wrong, but be skeptical. And if you can, the reason most people can't do that is um, they don't feel comfortable with ambiguity. So maybe that's the right place to start, right? You want to be comfortable. You want to find some comfort with not knowing the answer. And that's really hard for most of us. We go through school for 15 years where you have to know the answer. And if you don't know the answer, you get stressed out. But what happens if you actually say, you know what, it's okay that I don't have complete that I don't have complete certainty on the answer. But that gives me more openness and ways to think and act and proceed from here. Because if you do that and you begin to understand that it's okay that I don't know, but I can kind of get a range of possibilities. I don't know if this is true or not, but this could be true, or that could be true, or that could be true, or some combination, or maybe this other thing. And you get this broader range. And because you can work with a broader range of possibilities, then you can say, okay, well, here's some options that I have. Maybe I can do something that will address these three. It's probably a good risk. It's probably a good possibility. Or I can do something else that's more comprehensive and addresses a wider possibility range of options. And you start to go from very specific, detailed levels to more general, higher chunk size. Okay? So then it becomes something like, oh, well, I need to do something specific about this, to, okay, well, maybe I need to do something more general about this, like, hey, I need to get to know my neighbors better. Okay, I'll give you an extreme example. Like, war broke out. Okay. What do I do now? Okay. I can't, I guess like I'm too old to sign up for the military, but instead of saying, okay, what do I do at this tactical level? Maybe I do it one level higher. Okay. Well, I'm going to get to know my neighbors better because that's going to be a good thing. And I don't know what benefits that's going to accrue in the super detailed level, right? Working together. I don't know how that's going to implement, but up here, getting to know your neighbors better, that'll help. That'll help. And then bigger levels. Okay, well, maybe I ought to stockpile something, right? Food or whatever, my prescriptions, or you know what I'm saying? Things like that, just in case there's a supply disruption. Now that stuff is way over in Iran. Very unlikely to affect us too much over here, but wouldn't be the worst idea, would it? Okay. And you can start going higher and just things that are general. Okay, well, I need to keep in good touch with my family and community. Okay, well, ideally, you should have been done doing this the whole time. But now you start to think, okay, well, I can do this because that will make this easier and this easier. You can go even higher than that. And these are the type of things that you can really use to open up more options for you. Yeah. And as Doug sent a comment here, movies have trained people to crave obvious signs of good and evil. Right? You're supposed to know who's the good guy and the bad guy, but what if you don't? Right? It's okay if you don't. It's okay if you don't, because very few times is there a good guy and a bad guy. There's an old song that I love by a guy named Dave Mason. It's called "We Just Disagree." He says, "There ain't no good guy, there ain't no bad guy. It's just you and me, and we disagree." And the point is that there's always everybody is the good guy in their own side, right? So that ambiguity, that who is on my side and who is not. What? How are these sides even defined? How do we know this stuff? We don't really know this stuff. I mean, we get an idea, but it's not like the battle lines. Everybody is wearing blue and everybody is wearing green, and this whole group over here is wearing yellow, and you know who exactly everybody is because they're labeled. It's not how it works. That's not how it works. And even if it does, even if that is how it works, that not everybody wearing the yellow is 100% rah rah yellow, fanatically yellow. That's not how that works either. There's different types of levels of that as well. And all this ambiguity, when you realize that it's not three um, discrete, completely separate, platonic ideal teams going on, but that's groups of individuals, each of whom has specific 0 to 100%, let's say, opinions on what team they're on and their opinions of the other team. Right? It's so nuanced. There's so many different things, and everything starts to open up. Okay, well, what if yellow and what was it, green? What if yellow and green form an alliance? But then, one third of green doesn't like that, so they join red. Okay, there's so much ambiguity going on here. There's so much fluidity here. And so when people try to say, okay, well, this is how it is, it's like this, and that freaks me out, and that means everything's going crazy and going to hell. That's blackbilling. And then it's like the same thing in the other direction is white. Okay, well, this happened, and so now we're gonna just kick ass. We're really gonna win. Okay, great. That's great. But that's probably ephemeral. That's gonna last only for a little certain amount of time, and then the fluidity of the situation kicks in. Things change, things open up, things move around, the situation flows, and something else happens. And so that makes it easier to be comfortable, to feel comfortable with ambiguity because the situation is continually developing. It's not certain forever. That's not how it works. It's in this instant of time, this snapshot, this frame of the movie. It's like that. But then things unfold in different ways. So as you think about that and begin to understand how much more open your life is going to be when you accept the ambiguity because of the fluidity of the situation. And remember, the more fluidity there is in a situation, the more volatile or chaotic, the more your efforts the more effect your efforts have on directing what eventually happens. It's a big deal. When everything is locked down, sometimes what you do doesn't matter because it's so set in stone. It's when things get kind of shaken up that what you do matters more because things are not locked down anymore. All right. So hopefully that'll give you some new perspective. If you found this interesting or useful, feel free to share it with others. And have a great rest of your day. And I will talk to you tomorrow morning at 8:30. Oops, can't do that.